OGaccountability.com.
Yeah, and I saw where they interviewed some people from Portland the other day, longtime, Portland residents, and they said this is insane. This is not what we wanted. This is not it. Yeah, they're disgusted by it. It's what you got people walking around there. Fentanyl is just rampant there, right? You got human zombies walking around, and that's something that this border crisis is a huge deal. This is dangerous for our country. This could be something that truly affects this, and I don't want to say empire, but basically we have had an empire here for the last 200 and some odd years, right? Well, at least since World War II. But this could be something that could actually have it crumble. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
You look at those lines of those people trying to get in this country.
It's all men.
It's ridiculous to see that. And for people to actually think that that's okay, there are people out there that think it's okay.
Oh, yeah. I've lost friends over Facebook, and I don't comment a lot of stuff, but I posted a video and, get a message. How dare you, blah, 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 blah. I have family members that came over. So you have lawbreakers. Why didn't they go do it legally? You know why? Because we've made it so easy. All you got to do is come in and say, I need asylum.
Well, they're just letting them in, and all of those executive orders for Biden to go up there the other day and say that the reason we have an unsecured border is because of Donald Trump. That is just the most gross soundbite.
It's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. It's like, come on, dude. Who are you talking to? You are talking to people that absolutely have no clue what's actually going on. They hear one thing and they take that as truth and they run with it. And for him to get up there and say that and for people to believe it, they are going to be the downfall of this country. They truly are. Because they have they're people who've never seen violence. They don't understand who they're bringing in, who these people are. And you know what? We don't understand. We don't know who they are because we don't know who they are. No. Because they're not checking them.
So here's a question, Joe. How are these guys coming through when they're coming over the border and already have a piece of paper in their pocket of where they're going?
And they're getting cell phones, and New York just released $53 million in prepaid debit cards for these people, which is 40% more than the people on SNAP in New York. How do you feel now? All of you people on SNAP who voted for Biden, which granted, look, if there are people out there who need help every now and then, as long as it's a temporary fix and they need something to bridge that gap, I'm all for it. Okay, I know there's people out there that go through hard times, and maybe you do need 6 months. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Tia wasn't working from September until here recently. She got a great job at Trendsetter Engineering, where Trump gave his last speech when he was here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool place. She really loves it. But so during that interim, we were without health insurance. So guess what we did? We bit the bullet and we went on Obamacare. We did. It was temporary. We knew we needed some kind of catastrophic coverage. I'm all for that. That's okay because we had a plan to get off of it. Now, all those people that are on SNAP now in New York, they're getting 40% less than the people who got there hanging outside the Roosevelt Hotel assaulting police officers.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It was just a peaceful protest.
By kicking an LEO in the face while they're on the ground?
Yeah, that's it.
They should be immediately put in general, in general population at Rikers Island. As soon as they've done their time, send them back to wherever they came from.
Yeah.
But that's not, they let them free with no bail. Ridiculous.
That right there shows the leaders they have in office need to go.
They need to, not only do they need to go, I think they need to be prosecuted for allowing this. I mean, they're just as culpable in all this as the people who committed the crime, as far as I'm concerned. The people who voted for all this, you're getting what you wanted now. Congratulations.
And now the mayor of New York's coming out saying this is going to destroy and ruin the city. You said
you're the one who pushed it. You're the one who talked about being a sanctuary city.
Well, it's like little Susie and little Johnny that have been raised in a rural area in an affluent family that think they have views on the world and like we just need to accept and do everything. Well, you haven't been down where all this is going on, and if you had been, you'd have a different tone. And when you watch people how they act and react, we can't help. That's like growing up. We had a couple wanksters here in town, and I'm like, really? Is it really that hard here in the 336? Are you that oppressed? And the streets of Huffman. I mean, out here back then you had to dodge cows and horses all the time because they'd get out. Are you really gangster? Because you go down to those areas where they really are.
Yeah.
And you'll find out real quick. Yeah, I'm not who I think I am.
No, you're not. And look at some of these, and I keep hearing these numbers like, well, that's the 1 or 2% that are coming across. Like you said earlier, even though that 1 or 2% could be 2,000 people, right? I don't think that's accurate at all. I think it's a bigger percentage of that of people who have bad intentions coming in here. I think the percentage is bigger than that.
There's a guy who does some reporting, but he does it further down the line, and he will sit there and film the boats that are hauling these migrants. Out of 70 boats that went past, there wasn't one woman. They were all the ages between 18 and 30.
Why are you here?
Yeah.
What are you here to do? Why can't you do that in your own country? I heard somebody the other day talk about how a lot of these migrants are coming from Venezuela because they're being oppressed and it's a dictator and a tyrannical government down there. And I'm thinking, you mean the same government that the Obama administration supported? You're talking about that one? Pull their card with that. Whenever they try to talk about how Venezuela is in the situation it's in right now.
You're racist.
Yeah. Well, the situation in Venezuela is a direct result from the support that they got from the United States.
Absolutely. One cause and effect. And sometimes the underlying plan, because this is something that has been thought up and planned. This just isn't a, oh, hey, let's go to America. But it started a long time ago. And when Trump got in office, and, everybody's like, oh, you're a MAGA. Once again, the media has pressed that. You're a MAGA. No, I'm a constitutionalist, and I'm an America first type person. I want people to get help, but we need to help people here first. First. And when Trump came with that position of America first and was so hated by a lot of people, it's like, well, you're saying that, and under his governorship, you've had more money in your pocket, we've had more peace, and you're sitting back like, well, everything, why can't we let him in? Once again, go to the areas. In Eagle Pass, I got a video sent to me from the golf course right down there on the border.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You see it when they hit off, and then there's 4,000 people cheering them on. They're all just hanging out under the bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen. I went down to Eagle Pass to bid on a job one time back at the turn of the century. After the Marine Corps, I was working. I went down there for a job, and I know which golf course you're talking about. And you see these people. You see these people coming across. Abbott, like we said, Abbott's done a great job. All right, sticking that razor wire up there, and look, and they keep calling it razor wire. It's not razor wire. Okay, it's Constantina wire.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a difference.
Yeah, razor wire is used in prisons.
Yes, razor wire is different from what they're actually putting in down there. They're putting in Constantina wire. It's still going to get you stuck in it, right? And you can still get cut up real bad. And I mean, you probably die if you get cut up too bad in it. But
don't go in it.
Don't go in it. Don't cross the border. I just feel that these people coming across, and look at what it was like back when Trump was in office. Okay, and people can make the argument he's an asshole. He's this, he's that.
He is.
Yeah, but guess what? I had more money in my pocket. We weren't in foreign wars. We didn't have U.S. troops in countries that had no strategic value to our national security, unprotected, like the 3 soldiers that were killed the other day by that drone attack. Right? Yeah. They didn't even have an air defense system at that base. Why do we have them over there? Why aren't we protecting them? Why are they even there? What's the purpose? because some defense contractor is able to send supplies over there and get that check every month. That's why.
Follow the money.
Follow the money.
Follow the money.
Follow the money. There's no sense in having those people over there. The Houthis are firing at our ships, all the.
And with all this stuff going on, where's Dan Crenshaw? Where's your voice on this? Where's your voice on this, man?
I don't know. I haven't paid attention. Maybe I do need to listen to him, or considering he is my congressman. Not that I'm a huge fan of him.
He's kind of been non-existent.
Well, he likes those defense contractors too. I'd like to look at his portfolio and see what it says.
Yeah.
I get it. I respect the guy for being a vet, being a combat vet. Hats off to you. Thank you for your service. But, do you really have our best interest at heart? Because I've been to a fundraiser where he was at, and listened to him speak and all. And the money that was in that room, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He's just not. I mean, I saw it. He's got a lot of people backing him financially,
and that's who gets in.
Yeah,
that's who gets in.
That's who gets in. That's the biggest problem with our government right now. Money.
So they were just trying
the love of money.
The love of money. They were trying to pass the border bill. They're sending more money to Ukraine than they're going to spend on our border. 4 times more to Ukraine than, I can't remember, didn't Abbott declare a invasion?
Yeah. That's why he was able to activate the national the Texas National Guard down there, because he did declare it was an invasion, and in the Constitution, states have the right to defend themselves against an invasion, which is exactly what it is. If you've had 8 million people come through there in the last 3 or 4 years, that's an invasion.
That's an invasion.
Period.
I mean, there's countries that don't even have that many people in it.
Yeah.
You can take like 15 states and add all the people together, and then there's not that many people in 15 states here in America.
Yeah, but look at what 26 other states have done though. They've pledged their support to Texas.
Yeah, good for them.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Good for them.
And right now, we are really at the precipice. If the Supreme Court, and I haven't followed it fully, but if they allow them not to put Trump on the ballot in some states, our elections are over.
No, I saw this morning they're having a hard time with that.
Good.
Colorado's having a real hard time getting that through, because even some of the more liberal judges were giving them friction there, because
Good.
you can't do that.
No,
you just can't. I get states are in control of their own voting, but they can't decide who's on or off the ballot. That's way overstepping.
I mean, heck, hey California, remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger run, and whenever he did, next there was like 6 porn stars running. I think Gary Coleman ran, Larry Flint ran.
Yeah.
Man, they let everybody come to the table. And I didn't think like this, but I remember hearing parents and adults talk when we were younger that we have to protect the future of our kids. We have to protect what's going to happen with our kids, because they want to get it to a position in place. There's a group of people that they want to make it to where you can't even talk anymore and say certain things. They want you to be arrested if you say certain things that are hurtful. One of the best learnings in life that I've ever gone through was getting my feelings hurt.
That's a good teacher, isn't it?
It's a great teacher.
It's a great teacher. Struggle's a great teacher. Adversity's a great teacher. But learning how to deal with those emotions, or deal with those things, that's a great teacher. I really think that our education system is suffering. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I really do.
And
that's not to knock teachers. They gotta. From what I've been hearing from my daughter, that's a tough job.
My hat's off to them, and once again, my hat is off to the Barbers Hill School District. They have a maverick of a superintendent who will not. I mean, even this week they were on the news again.
Yeah,
for having standards, and when people think I'm not going to, well, you signed that piece of paper, you read what our standards were. Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
If you can't adapt to what and he's let every parent know, not in meeting, in emails he sends out to the parents. Critical race theory will never be taught in this school while I'm here. We will not get into the boys using girls' restrooms, girls using boys' restrooms. We're just not going to do it. It's not going to happen. If you got a problem with it, move out of district.
Yeah. Sue us. We're Barbara Sue. We got plenty of money.
That they do. Well,
Yeah.
You heard the conversation. Not only they have plenty of money, they have the cream of the crop when it comes to athletes, and
Yeah, they've always had a good
they
effect.
always have. And I'm to the point now that I'm starting to get that thought process and get a little more passionate about. Sometimes we sit back and there's certain things that I don't allow to affect me, because you have to render to Caesar what Caesar's at time, and just
Right.
realize, hey, that's just the way it's going to be. But when it comes to taking the rights, Canada has now adopted kids' rights movement to where kids have rights. So therefore, if they go to schools, if they go to counselors and get recommended out to a third-party service, they don't have to notify the parents. It's kids' rights.
See, here's the rights kids should have to protection, and they should have the right to protection against people mutilating their genitals or giving them hormones. That's what they should be protected against. And shame on the parents who are going off and doing that too. They should be locked up.
Yeah, they should.
That's child abuse.
It's child abuse.
Child abuse. Period.
And just like I told you, I saw that video, and I'm like, is that guy wearing a dress? And Peyton immediately turned it off.
I have a hard time understanding where their strategy for the left is here, because if you were think about some of these people coming across the border, they're hardcore Catholic, right?
Right.
They're hardcore Catholic.
Hardcore.
Do you think they're going to be okay with some transgender person reading to their kid in the library, or talking to them about it's okay to, or talking to them about sex at that early an age, especially as taboo as it is in the Catholic in the Catholic denomination or belief system. You think they're going to be okay with that? So what happens when they get over here and they start seeing what that party and that movement actually represents?
I will tell you one thing about Hispanic males. They are probably the most macho, masculine.
Yeah, a lot of
group
machismo.
Everyone that I've known, they are macho
Yeah.
men's men.
Yeah.
And
There's some very, very tough individuals.
yeah, well,
Right.
some of the most barbaric gangs in the world, MS-13 and some of these guys, they don't play around. Now, like you said, I'm over here, and John, who's had the dreams of being a woman, is now 40 years old and thinks because he slapped some fake boobs on him and took some hormones and grew his hair out, that now he's a woman and is going to sit here and indoctrinate my child. I don't think so. I'm not going to come against you. I'm just not going to be a part of it. So if you brought that into my school, the day it's brought into my daughter's school is the day that she is going to be withdrawn from the school.
Yeah.
And her mother feels the exact same way.
Yep.
We're not going to give into this crap.
No, T and I are on the exact same page. I haven't had to really worry about it at the schools in Conroe ISD where we're at right now.
And I had somebody say something to me when they did. I'm like, oh my God. They said, it won't take over. It may in some of these real blue states like Portland area. You let that happen in Texas, and 1 million parents withdraw their kids out of the school, and that school suddenly loses the money they get.
TEA's gone.
Yeah.
They're out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So follow the money.
Yeah.
And when we don't take a stand for what's right, when we don't take a stand, what you let pass today becomes a giant tomorrow on things you overlook. Certain things have to be confronted immediately. Immediately. We had a guy, I was up working at the church, and I was out on the tractor, and I look over, and he's looking in the windows of the church. Now, he sees me over there. So I walk over, I get off the tractor, walk over, I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? Oh, nothing much, man. Just walking around, never been here before. I was like, okay. It was 2 o'clock on a Tuesday. You scoping the place out? Oh, no. I'm like, well, I've been here 30 years. I've never had anybody walk around and go door to door and put their heads up and look through the windows. So what are you doing? Oh, Certain things like that need to be confronted right then. Right then. Not, we have to scope the place out and, get our schedule and then come up, because we've been broken into. Not only have we been broken into, when they couldn't get in, they went to the back side of the church and smashed through the T11, smashed through the sheetrock, and came through the wall. So our pastor, when we flooded, went through and said, okay, 4 feet up, we won't go back with sheetrock. We're going to go back with 3/4 inch plywood. So every room, you're not getting in that way anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can just drive a car through, but you're not going to keep people out. If people want in, they're going to get in.
Just like this country. That's a huge topic that I would love to come back and speak on more, because that, to me, that's a huge problem with this country.
Humongous.
It is the biggest national security threat of I think since this country's inception. I truly do. The Civil War is a big one, but the war going on at our border right now is dangerous. That could be the complete downfall of this.
And our government is trying to tie the hands of the people that were hired to protect that border, saying you can't do that. Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. You talk to Border Patrol agents, they don't want to be doing this.
No.
They're like, they're making our job harder. And they keep talking about how, and they keep talking about funding. Stop trying to legislate this. This is not a legislative issue, okay? It's an enforcement issue. Period.
You hit it right there. Absolutely.
Period.
But when you get the people in the position, like that Mayorkas guy or whatever, what a moron.
Yeah.
The guy can't answer a question straight.
No.
He can't get facts. He never knows anything. I'll have to get back to you on that. And you're the person, you should know this more than anyone. You should have the facts every day handed to you, but you're just going around.
They can't let the general public know the facts.
And well, speaking of facts, did you see where Biden said he was talking to that guy and he died like
30 years ago? Almost 30 years ago.
And then Peter Dorsey,
asked her about it.
And she just wouldn't even address it. And it's like, if Trump had done that, it would be headlined on the news every single day up till the election.
Well, you saw where CNN went after Biden yesterday, right?
No. Really?
The CNN reporter, the White House reporter for CNN, after Ducey, because Ducey asked Biden about not being that special counsel, not charging him with the classified documents, and Ducey asked him, said, hey, look, they said it was because you're elderly, you can't remember anything. And the very next question was from a CNN reporter. And it was like, how do you expect people to trust you whenever your cognitive ability, and so somebody in CNN let her off the leash finally.
Yeah.
And she was asking tough questions. And of course he gets defensive because he has nowhere to go, and he gets frustrated because he's been in power too long and he's never been challenged. And when he is challenged, he just lies, and he's just a bad person. He needs to be gone.
I think if everybody realized some of and I'm not saying I do, but if we realized exactly what was truly going on behind the scenes, how do these people get into office making $174,000 a year? So that means after taxes, they probably make $115,000, and they're worth $20 and $30 and $40 million now.
Follow the money.
Follow the money. Like how? And then
they still haven't passed anything on restricting stock trades while you're in office. That should be, to me, that should be a requirement. Like when you've got a seat in the House and Senate, you can't trade stocks.
No.
And your immediate family can't either.
We are seeing the most corrupt government we've ever seen.
Ever.
On both sides.
Oh, yeah.
On both sides.
Oh, yeah. Those 4 Republicans, there's something going on there.
Absolutely.
If we're not impeaching Mayorkas.
It's like, what pictures do they have of you? Or what deals do you have working on the other end?
What do you got going on? Because something's going on.
Yeah.
For you to not vote to get that guy out of here, something's going on. They're not out for us. They're out for themselves.
They're out for themselves. And what was the guy that just got impeached? The Georgia the guy that just, I mean, lied his whole way through his campaign, and he's a gay Hispanic guy, George. Anyways, but come to find out, he had spent tons of the illegally bought cars, bought $15,000 worth of suits, all this different stuff, and he just lied. Now they impeached him. They got rid of him. We have a president that this isn't thought process, fact. They know his dealings, and it's just like, who cares? But Trump.
Yeah, it's Trump.
It's Trump.
It's Trump.
And
everything's Trump. That was so disgusting the other day when Biden said that. It's like that's a total soundbite, man.
And there's a large group of people that will just buy into that because he said it. I like watching these guys go around and interview people, and they'll say, "Who are you going to vote?" Well, I'm voting for Biden. Why? Because he's done a great job, and you really think he's done a great job? A loaf of bread's now $5 and $6.
You can't. There's no you can't speak in any sense to these.
It's
people.
almost comedic.
Yeah. It just shows how far we've fallen.
And that Shane Gillis guy, I don't know his political affiliation, but he's like, you have to admit, he's like, not only did Trump do a great job, but he is the best trash talker in the world. He's like, they could hit him with facts, and he'd just be like, "You're gay."
The only way to keep him from winning the presidency again is going to put him in prison, which I don't think they can do. I think that this will be like a Reagan moment. Hopefully, they've got the mail-in voting thing completely.
Well, look at the lady trying to prosecute him. Once they finally start delving into her, and now it's like, oh well, no, you're corrupt.
Yep, you were corrupt. You were taking money. Yep.
If anybody did that wasn't a Democrat,
she should have been smarter than that. If she's out there doing dirt, she should have known that somebody was going to find it if she took these steps. But that's the thing, and I know people like this. Okay. And I know people like this. They've gotten away with it for so long because nobody stands up to them. And then when finally somebody pulls their card, okay, now all of a sudden, they're victim. They were just trying to help. No.
You hope you get to a place that you can confront yourself and come to grips with who you are before people need to confront you.
Yeah.
That's just like people that have problems with drinking, people that have problems with drugs, people have problems. At some point, they need to be confronted like, hey, look, I'm not coming against you as a person. I saw a shirt the guy was wearing. It says, "I like to drink a little." And then the guy I become likes to drink a lot. And at first I thought it was funny. And then I'm like,
that's pretty
good.
Good.
That is
good.
And so I know people, I just like to have a couple drinks. No, it never is just a couple drinks.
No.
Ever. It escalates. And if you could just have a couple drinks and be chill and civilized, more power to you.
Yeah.
I mean, and guess what, brother? That's biblically sound.
Yeah.
That's biblically sound.
This guy.
But when we come to grips, and I think the way we have gotten, just like this, they were talking about President Biden on the news, and they're interviewing a senator. And this idiot says, well, I'm not a doctor, and neither are the people who said that. I don't have to be a doctor to know. I've talked to tens of thousands of people in my lifetime. I know when I'm talking to somebody that cognitively they're not all there.
Right.
I don't have to be a doctor. I just have to be a human being to realize things aren't adding up. When I don't know how to walk off a stage, I get confused. I say I'm talking to a guy who died 30 years ago. I misquote.
So embarrassing.
And I don't have to be a doctor, but see, that's the way they've gotten things now. Well, what's your degree? No, I'm a human being. I don't need a degree to understand that. And if we allow ourselves to get sucked into the conformity of agreement is good, but the agreement thought process to where we just agree with everybody because we don't like confrontation, well, it's that old saying, Hard times create tough people. Tough people create easy times, and easy times create weak people.
Yeah.
And we've gotten weak people that can't handle confrontation, especially this younger generation.
They're not challenged.
No. And when they are, they lose their crap.
Just like in your marriage.
Yeah.
They're in a marriage, that it's healthy. It's healthy. Healthy debate, healthy that's good for us.
We as men, sometimes we don't like to be confronted. We don't like our shortcomings to be brought up. But especially, let's talk about the spouse. When things are done in the correct mode, there's a difference between concern and condemning somebody. Big difference. But when we can listen to somebody speak and say, when this happens, you do this. Can you help me understand why? You ever been asked a question about yourself and you almost really have to get put on the spot and you don't know how to answer it?
Yeah.
You're like, what? It's like people like, well, Trump's a misogynist. Well, what's the definition of that? This conversation's over. Because what they did is they just realized you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
You have no clue what you're talking about. They just
spit out the last talking point they heard from some talking head on some show that they watch that makes them feel more intelligent.
I do. I could take you right now. I could take that camera. We'd go walk in my daughter's room. Over her bed, she has the American flag, and she wanted it. I didn't get it for her. She asked for it. Then she's got a picture, a flag of Donald Trump. I think he's wearing a cowboy hat. I can't remember what he's doing, but she wanted that. And she's 12. And she, because I always watch the news. I normally just watch it for the weather, and so I can get angry while I'm cooking dinner.
Gives you stuff to talk about.
It does, but really what I've learned is, and this is the truth, and I know people are like, well, that's conspiracy. I watch Lester Holt because I realize the majority of what he is saying, especially about Trump and other people, I automatically know, well, you just revealed what the Democrats are really doing. Mm-hmm. You just revealed what's really going on behind the scenes, because what they're doing, Hillary Clinton, everything she blamed Trump for, she was doing.
She was doing it.
And,
well, that's part of their playbook.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's part of the rules for radicals.
And once we get to the tough place, then you're just a racist.
Yeah.
Your white pride, your white privilege, your male masculinity, toxic masculinity. And, we grew up watching Bruce Willis, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all these guys that were as macho could be. And did people emulate that? Yes. But I think a lot of people realized that's a movie. Okay, let's talk about reality for a second. Women love stories. Now, can you speak for all women? Look at Lifetime Channel. Okay, look at the Hallmark Channel. They're all movies geared towards women. Now, if what happened there in a lot of these movies actually happened in real life, like men that just love a woman and, she walks out and, he's in her front yard and he's like, oh, hey, I was just walking through, and then they fall in love. No, that happens now. It's like, lock the doors, call the cops. What the heck's this guy doing here? And we get this twisted reality of if what movie was it where John Cusack, he's out there holding the
say anything.
Yeah, he's holding the radio up. If you did that,
that's
now,
stalking.
Yeah, it's stalking. But we get in this realm of it's romantic. Well, let somebody really do that, and see how romantic it is. Reality has become so warped. Let's just look at reality television. It's not reality television. It's scripted television, and people think what they're watching is real. And we're old enough to remember when reality TV finally came out.
Yes.
And then when we found out, oh, it's scripted.
What was it? Road Rules and
what was Real World?
The Real World. I remember those first seasons of that. Was that like 96 and 97?
Was it Puck? Remember Puck?
Yeah.
That guy was.
Boy, he was insane.
He was insane. Yeah.
I remember. Wasn't it Seattle they were started in?
I think it was. And I always liked to watch The Real World because I thought it was real. And then later on, they would say that the crew would stir up fights and get stuff started and then start filming for ratings. Yeah. And